Have you ever watched Super Bowl?
Yeah, I watched it once, and I was like, it was kind of boring.
It's so boring. It's so boring.
I think NFL as a sport is kind of boring to watch.
I think it's fun. If it's the ad breaks. The ad breaks just kill the mood for me a lot. It was funny because I watched this Super Bowl because I had Sydney's family over come visit, and it was like the Taylor Swift Bowl. I think I saw more shots of Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl than any of the actual players.
Well, that's why it was the most viewed one of all time.
Is it actually?
Yes. Of course it is. God.
Our society's doing.
Taylor Swift could mobilize an army tomorrow. If Taylor Swift was like enlist, the U.S. Marines.
If Taylor was like, I need to buy this land and make Swift land a certified country, the government would be like, by all means, Taylor. I mean, go for it. Support the economy.
The fact that Trump came out with a tweet being like preemptively because he felt that Taylor Swift was going to be like vote for Biden. He made this tweet that was so weird and cringe. It was like, thanks to me, Taylor was allowed to get her album and get all the rights to the bill I signed. It was just out of nowhere. He was like, yeah, I signed this. And it was weird. It was like, are you that afraid of Taylor Swift saying something? That's fucked. Like, that just goes to show how fucking powerful her influence is.
I think a couple of weeks ago, was it last week? I forgot what it was, but she did her first couple of shows in Australia.
Yeah.
And she did one of the shows in Melbourne, which was the biggest show that she's done on her entire tour in terms of like capacity. I think it was like, she did it at the MCG, I think, which is like 200,000 people.
Fuck.
And apparently that weekend, the Victorian economy went up by like 15% or something insane like that. Like it did such an amazing push for the local economy.
Yeah.
That like Melbourne was like rich momentarily.
Yeah, well,
while she was in town.
I've heard that her concerts have the same effect as a Super Bowl taking place in that city, which it's crazy. It's crazy to think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
Terrifying, but cool.
I got in this fucking argument with Sydney.
Because oh god.
Oh yeah, because you went to the concert, didn't you?
I couldn't go in the end because we thought we had more tickets than we did because it was a lottery system.
Did you want to go?
Huh?
Did you want to go?
I did actually want to go.
Really?
I want to see. I just want to see what the hype is.
If I got tickets, I'd go. I just want to see the energy.
Right.
I bet it being fucking unhinged.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, we thought we had 4 tickets, but it turned out we had 2. So I was like, I'm not going to take it away from Sydney and her mum. I'm going to give it to them. Funny thing, actually, Sydney's mum was just at a bar, full out, geared out, like just Swiftie merch, right? She gets approached by this journalist who's like, oh, I'm doing an article about Swifties. Can I do an interview? And her mum's like, sure. Me or Sydney were not with her, by the way. And then he does this interview with, this big Taylor Swift fan that he saw in a random bar. Looks at her second name and is like, do you have a daughter?
No way.
and she's like, yeah, I do have a daughter. And he's like, I think I've interviewed your daughter for the Tokyo Weekender.
That's funny.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, now, because it's funny.
I saw it this morning or the other day. It was posted, right?
Yeah, it was Japan. She has an article in the Japan Times. Now, the Pennywise family cannot be stopped. They now have an article in the Tokyo Weekender. 2 generations. And it got published a story because on the day, she slipped on the stairs in our house and she we were like super fucking scared that she broke her arm.
Oh, fuck.
And we were like, oh my God, I think we need to go to the hospital. We need to get stitches. And it was like the day of the Taylor Swift concert. And she was like, patch me up, get me a bandage, but I'm making the concert. I am
morphine me up. I'm
going. Take me to the hospital afterwards. I'm making Taylor Swift, and then you can do whatever. Sorry.
Did she go to the hospital afterwards?
She
magically recovered by the end of it.
She magically recovered.
I have a feeling the music healed her.
Yeah. The power of Taylor Swift, healed her.
It's like after every Shonen battle, the scars
was it any different to an American concert or?
I mean,
I saw articles that were like, Japanese fans think that Americans are barbaric for their behavior at Taylor Swift concerts.
I wouldn't wrong.
And the only reason why this was it was a Western outlet calling. They were saying that the Japanese thought it was barbaric, but I actually when I saw other stuff, it wasn't that. I think there was just some outlets had just claimed that some Japanese people were quite annoyed that people were just filming everything. That's normally
it's very different
Yeah.
culture. Yeah.
So I guess some Japanese people were annoyed that everyone was filming, but that's
But like afterwards, I got in a big like debate argument with Sydney and her brother because we were at Golden Guy and
yes, a Golden Guy.
Yeah, we were in Golden Guy after the Swift concert, and I was like, who do you think has gotten more famous, Taylor Swift or Michael Jackson? And I thought this was like an easy answer.
Okay,
who do you guys think?
I think.
That's a tough one.
That is not an easy answer.
Is it not an easy answer?
I think.
I think in terms of like.
I think a year ago, if you'd asked me this question, I would have said easily Michael Jackson. But nowadays, with how fucking often you see Taylor Swift everywhere, it's hard.
It's hard to say because none of us were alive at like peak Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Or we were like fucking Goo Goo Gaga brains.
Well, that's like asking the question like who accumulated more fame over time, Taylor Swift or the Beatles?
Yeah, like
it's difficult, right?
I think like our perspective is like skewed. I don't know how it felt to be a Michael Jackson fan during his peak.
Yeah.
It might have felt like this level of intense.
Yeah,
I think it's Michael Jackson. Like easy. Maybe give Taylor like a little bit more time.
I think Michael Jackson makes way better music.
That's not the question, Joey.
Because if I had to pick,
I honestly, I think Taylor Swift. I think I'd go with Taylor Swift.
Fuck off! No way.
So. It's hard, man.
No fucking way. No
because
shot.
Again, it's hard.
Too early.
Yeah.
The level of influence she has at this point, I think, is more influence than I think Michael Jackson had at his peak.
I think we won't know until we see the longevity of Taylor Swift's after this world tour ends. I think it's like sometime at the end of this
Netflix
year.
documentary is going to be like 19 parts in the future with the amount of stuff we have now to cover.
Yeah.
Well, there's just more like media now, and I feel like the world is more connected. I feel like
she's bigger.
But like, I feel like Michael Jackson was able to reach like that fame like without having social media, and I feel like it's.
But I also think without social media, there was less channels to get it. So when you did get it, it was more impactful because there was not many other options.
To me, okay, I'm basing this on like pure, let's say, anecdotal, like a lot of like anecdotal feelings and evidence, but because I don't know what the numbers are, but to me, like, you go to like this I could go to this buttfuck nowhere, middle of the countryside place in Thailand, fucking barely any technology at all.
Yeah.
And people will have cassette tapes or just have knowledge of Michael Jackson, because that was like, if, his music really just perpetuated everywhere globally.
Yeah.
And, Taylor Swift has done a similar thing with, technology and all that things. But I feel like at the moment it's more like the newer generation, whereas MJ back at the time.
Actually, I think the reason why Taylor's so successful is that she's like generational. Like,
totally.
I think most ages, Sydney's mom, who has pretty been around, because Taylor's been making music for God so damn long. I don't really like Taylor's music that much at all.
Yeah,
I don't really listen to it, but I mean, the impact is
You just
undeniable.
put a target on your back.
Yeah.
That's all right. I don't like
I don't
this
think
guy,
Swifties watch Trash Taste. And
and if they do, they're angry.
I don't think they watch Trash Taste. So it's just not for me.
I don't know, man. Knowing the Swifties, they're gonna find this episode somehow.
I just not for me.
It's like word is that this random podcast said that they don't like Taylor Swift's music.
Well, no, I just think it's
Get
like,
them.
whatever, I think it's whatever. I don't think Taylor. I don't think Swiftie fans are made out to be as brain dead as people make them out to be.
Yeah.
People make them.
Sure about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think like if you're like, I don't like the music that much, not for me. I don't think you just get attacked.
I don't know, man. I've seen Twitter before.
I've seen Twitter, but then I feel like it's bait. Like when I've seen people get attacked, they're baiting so hard.
You think?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who bait.
I thought so at first as well, and then the more evidence I've seen, the more I'm like, oh wait, maybe they are actually insane. Like I don't know.
Well, with a fan base.
Not saying every
big.
Swiftie is like that, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, if you like you said, if it's
who do you think is the most famous musician in the world then?
Taylor Swift.
Like of all time?
Right.
No, of all time.
All time?
Of all time.
I'd say the Beatles.
I don't know.
You don't have to even like the Beatles' music But you know,
I just
you don't have to even like the Beatles music, but you know who the Beatles are.
every now and then on Twitter, that Wikipedia page of the movie Yoko made gets shared around. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen
The
it.
one with the John Lennon dick.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this? Dude.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't seen it.
I've seen
There's a 30-minute movie that Yoko Ono made. Is that his name?
Yoko Ono, yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Made that was of just his dick, John Lennon's dick.
What?
I've seen it.
And then he just comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like type in John Lennon dick movie or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know what you type in to get this. Did you see the Wikipedia page? It's a wild read. It's a wild read.
But while we're looking that up, right? Like, I think it's still the Beatles because, like, you know, you talk about like, okay, we weren't alive during like the peak of like Michael Jackson's popularity, right? We weren't alive during like the peak of Beatlemania, right? But you've seen footage of Beatlemania.
Well, I've seen footage of like Michael Jackson concerts as well.
Oh yeah, but like Beatlemania was different because it's like they would be out in the fucking streets, like rioting to like get a chance to see this shit. Oh yeah, Bed Piece.
Self-Portrait was a 1969 film made by the artist Yoko Ono, premiering at the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London in 1996. The 42-minute film consists of a single shot of her husband's John Lennon's semi-erect penis.
Hell yeah.
It's just like that shit's raw.
Yeah.
I mean,
raw.
like, have you heard the music that Yoko made with John Lennon?
That's pretty bad.
It's really weird and just like esoteric. Like, there's this my favorite piece. I forgot what it was called, but it was from their like collab album, and it's just this like 5-6 minute audio of just Yoko and John saying each other's names. And it's just like, Yoko.
It's just weird.
John.
Just weird.
Yoko. John. It's literally Kaneda. Like, it's that scene in like Akira.
That's so weird.
It's like Naruto Sasuke.
What
but
was
like,
going on?
Yeah, it was fucking weird, bro. Yoko Ono's weird.
Yeah. I would say the Beatles is like, in my mind, on the same level as like MJ.
Yeah.
In my mind.
For sure.
I feel like Taylor Swift has the opportunity to get up to that level. I don't think she's there
I think
yet.
Taylor Swift, though, has only been perpetuated because, as you said, we're so much more of like a connected race of humans now that like you go on the internet and it's fucking impossible to avoid her now. Like every station you flip to, every like social media account you go to, someone or something is talking about Taylor Swift.
I just feel like it's a double whammy, right? Because you know, back in the days of the Beatles and Michael Jackson, I feel like there was just a lot less competition or a lot less things going on or like to compete with it. Because I feel like popularity nowadays is, ironically enough, like in a lot of bubbles, right? You can have like, there are some fucking like Jinxie, for example, who gets like 200k viewers on Twitch. And I did not know who he was before the Streamer Awards at all.
Yeah.
Even though he is on like a different level of popularity than everything, you know, than a lot of other streamers. I had not heard of him because I'm in my own bubble of popularity about what I get shown and what I get seen. I believe that Taylor is one of the few people that has like perpetuated many bubbles online, but I feel like there is still a lot of people around the world that might not have had the same exposure that a lot of the Western world would have in you know, talking about global popularity.
Fair enough.
And when I think about the Beatles and when I think about like Michael Jackson, that is fucking global popularity.
Yeah, I think it's a difference between like commercial success, which I think Taylor has definitely got over people like MJ and the Beatles.
Yeah.
But then there's the other form of fame, which is like the notoriety. It's like how many people even know who you are, right?
Exactly.
Like,
There must be a way to quantify this. Some big brain scientist must be able to quantify.
like here's an interesting
Relevancy.
question, man.
Yeah.
Who do you think his name is more known around the world right now? Taylor Swift or Elvis Presley?
Taylor Swift, bro. 100%.
You think?
100%.
Again, you don't have to like Elvis' music. You know who Elvis is.
I think, unlike Michael Jackson, Elvis definitely was more America-centric.
Yeah, I feel like
You think so?
I don't think like someone like a boy in the Philippines was listening to Elvis that much. Well, actually, no, he probably was.
No, but they probably at least know the name.
Maybe.
You know, they don't even have to know who he was. They just know the name Elvis Presley.
I feel like Elvis is kind of, his notoriety is kind of,
It's just older. It's older than Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he's way older.
He's like in the 50s.
Yeah,
That's probably actually why I'm sure back in the 80s he was what Michael Jackson was in the 2010s, right? Like everyone knew him.
Right.
But I feel like his influence has like
It's weaker every year.
It's
Also, that Elvis movie was ass. Did you watch that Elvis movie?
No.
I saw a bit of it on the plane.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's fucking snooze fest. Well, it's because, a lot of these estates, they, like, I think also like the Queen one, they won't allow them to, like, tell the real story.
Yeah.
They
don't want to tarnish the name.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, Freddie Mercury without having a life story about Freddie Mercury without discussing like AIDS or HIV. It's just not his life story.
Not his life story.
That's just like.
Well, that's why Bohemian Rhapsody was so good.
Well, I mean, they barely touched on it though.
Yeah, but at least they touched upon it.
Yeah, I guess it helped. But like, I think the Elvis one didn't do well because. The story of Elvis is fucking insane. Like, I feel like they could have
did
been
a lot of
way
terrible
more
things.
raunchy with it. But this is why, like, I don't know if you ever watched this, but have you ever watched the Joaquin Phoenix Johnny Cash film? That's such a good.
That's a fantastic movie.
That's such a great way to do a biopic. It's like, yes, this man was very flawed, but like, we can still tell a compelling story.
Yeah.
And not like. It's public record. Everyone knows the stuff. Like, we're not tarnishing his name. His name exists with or without this. Like, having a movie, like, if you don't like someone like not just John Lennon, if you don't like Freddie Mercury for being gay, like a movie telling you that he was gay is not gonna like change that, right? Like, you're still homophobic. Like, it's not gonna tarnish his reputation. You know what I mean? So
have you seen that famous picture of Johnny Cash when he was young and he's sitting in a bush, high off his mind, eating an entire cake?
No, I haven't seen that.
look up Johnny Cash cake in a bush.
So how was it having to deal with Sydney's family for 2 weeks? Must have been great.
Oh, it was
2 weeks, a long time though.
That is a long time.
That's how much I did with my parents. It was a lot.
Yeah, there's the Johnny Cash cake. he's just absolutely cracked out eating cake in a bush.
His fucking music's so good.
It's fantastic.
Rest in peace. Jailhouse. What's that one song? I love that song. Is it Jailhouse? What's it called?
I think about Jailhouse Rock, which is an Elvis Presley.
Not Jailhouse Rock. What's the one where he's like, I killed a man in Reno. I shot him in the head. Something like that. I don't know.
Fuck. I know which song you're talking about.
You know the one I'm on about?
Yeah.
That's him, right?
That is him.
It's such a banger.
Yes. I forgot the name though. He made like 500 albums.
I shot a man in Reno just to watch.
Now imagine that man. It's the one who wrote that.
I don't know. Fucking banger.
Sometimes with like artists and musicians, there's, like with Elvis, which I feel like is more America centric. Obviously, he got global fame, but I feel like in America, yes, he's still very, very influential and very, very well known. I'm not sure as well as worldwide as much as like the Beatles and MJ.
I also don't think about this that much. I don't think about this that much. Who's more famous? But I guess it's a fun little exercise to think about. It's more famous.
Well, it's like, it's fun to think about. It's rare for any one person to get this amount of like fame.
Every generation has that one person who does it.
Okay, here's a question. Who is the most famous person right now?
So,
like in the world?
Donald Trump?
Yeah, probably Donald Trump.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like his name is probably...
Can you look it up? Who's the most famous person right now?
It's probably him, right? I feel like everyone knows him, unfortunately.
Really? You think?
Yeah, I do think so.
I feel that's only in the English-speaking world.
But it's like I think when Barack was president, Barack was the most famous person on Earth. Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, yeah, true. The Queen, probably was for a long time.
Yeah, the Queen probably was
for a long time.
Dwayne Johnson's very famous.
Yeah.
Will Smith,
get it.
How is Michelle Obama
more famous
than Donald? Oh, the same level. This is so. I mean, like, how do you quantify that? Like, you just go to the guy in like the mountains of Myanmar and be like, "Do you know who Michael Jackson?" No, okay. The Queen.
Out of this list of names, who do you know?
Like, any of these ring a bell? Ronaldo. I don't know. Like, yeah, I think probably a footballer. Honestly, is probably the. I don't know. They're trying. Who cares? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who fucking cares?